Republicans have made it clear that one of their biggest goals, now that they're in power of the White House, the House, and the Senate, is to defund Planned Parenthood. That has been a long-standing goal of theirs, and they make it clear they believe that the organization should not receive any federal funds. Some 150 Planned Parenthood patient advocates, including this woman, Courtney Everette, were on Capitol Hill yesterday to share their stories and fight against the family planning organization's defunding. Ironically, the defunding provision in the ACA repeal plan is the only one that has nothing to do with the Affordable Care Act itself. Some facts about Planned Parenthood. It provides preventative health care services, including breast exam and pap smears. Also provides sex education, as well as birth control and abortion services. But none of the federal funds it receives can be used for abortions. Of the Planned Parenthood's 2.5 million patients, 15% are African-American women, 23% are Latino, 75% have incomes at or below 150% of the federal poverty level. Let's talk about this with Alicia Johnson, Director of Constituency Communications for Planned Parenthood. And Courtney Everette, who is here, a patient and advocate. She's a mother of 2 children from Chicago. Courtney, when you went on Capitol Hill, what was the argument that you made with regards to the organization?
That, like thousands of other women, I was just trying to live my best life. And when I was unable to afford birth control, Planned Parenthood stepped into the gap for me. And that's a service that without them, I would not have been able to stay healthy to have my children. And I don't want that service taken away from other women.
Valencia, Republicans say there are other organizations that can actually provide the exact same service of Planned Parenthood.
I mean, it's simply untrue. If you look at even just Speaker Ryan's district, there are Planned Parenthood health centers there that are the only healthcare providers in those counties. And Republicans are not looking at the facts here. This is a political game that they are playing, but our patients like Courtney and the millions of others that come into our health centers are not making a political statement. They are literally just coming for health care. And if we talk about Black women in particularly, Black women have the most to lose when it comes to losing access to contraception, access to breast cancer screening. We know that Black women die at higher rates because of breast cancer, and these are just some of the pieces, some of the gaps that Planned Parenthood fills.
And when you look at this, when you look at what took place in Texas, where a federal judge ruled it was unconstitutional what they were trying to do there when it came to stripping funding as well. Critics say that this is an effort again for them to go around Roe v. Wade to be able to go after different organizations that actually are that do provide abortion services. Your thoughts?
Absolutely. To your point earlier, you were explaining how federal funding for Planned Parenthood that covers Medicaid and Title X programs and other federal programs. It does not cover abortion services because of the Hyde Amendment, and so it is another channel to go after organizations who believe in women's right to choose whether or not that is abortion. And that is what this is about. But again, to my point earlier, patients are not coming to Planned Parenthood for this political statement. They just want care.
Ralph, if the Hyde Amendment prevents Planned Parenthood from federal funds from being used for abortions, why would the GOP be going after Planned Parenthood to defund?
Because Planned Parenthood, for one, is an organization that was founded by a racist eugenicist who thought and articulated that Black people were weeds that needed to be exterminated. I'm speaking for myself. Now, that's an organization that has successfully done more to eradicate Black people from the face of the earth than the Ku Klux Klan. Since 1973, 20 million Black babies have been murdered. And because of that, there are 50 million Black people who are missing from the United States of America. So no, Planned Parenthood needs to go. There are other places that people can go, that women can go to get services. Planned Parenthood is a racist organization that targets Black people, and they need to be defunded.
Courtney, how would you respond?
I would say that that's completely untrue. This is an organization that, like many other groups, may have a complicated history, but has really turned around to be a provision of necessary and affordable and life-saving care in specifically the Black community.
Valencia, he's speaking of Margaret Sanger, of course, founder of Planned Parenthood. How would you respond to what Ralph just said?
You know, there was this article that Imani Gandhi wrote on Rewire, a Black woman, and we're sitting with 3 Black women on this panel that support Planned Parenthood. And she said to attack Planned Parenthood for Margaret Sanger's beliefs, and those are actually false beliefs. You should actually read those, the fact checks, the numerous fact checks against those, would be to disavow any organization.
Okay, so
that
you're saying what he said is false. You're saying it's true, and you're citing where people can go get the information.
Absolutely.
Where? No, hold on one second.
Sorry. Rewire.com. There's also an NPR fact check. I believe Washington Post did a fact check. And there's also this organization, Trust Black Women, who did in-depth research and expanded on these false narratives that people are picking and choosing to use to shame Black women from using the services that we need to survive.
Julian.
Margaret Sanger was a eugenicist. I've done the research, I've written about it, but so what? That was at the turn of the century. The fact is that Planned Parenthood, literally, it's the first check I write when I do my contributions at Christmas time, because too many friends have had to go there, not only for abortions, but for basic health services. When you go to some smaller places, and you look within 20 miles, what you have is a Planned Parenthood. So to lean on that, the 50 million, how many ever million that you made up that were killed, missing Black people, that's nonsense. People don't get up in the morning and say they want to have an abortion. When people have abortions, they do it with great and due consideration. And so to lean back on that is to suspend any analysis, to ignore Courtney's story, but not only Courtney's story, the stories of millions of women who have no place else to go for breast cancer screening. And do you know that, again, we are 3 times as likely to have triple negative breast cancer. We've had Roland, some of the sisters on the show who had that experience. We are almost twice as likely to be diagnosed with breast cancer before we're 35. And most health plans don't even allow you to get your first mammogram until you're 40. And so Planned Parenthood provides a service. That's what they provide, is a service. And to basically, if you want to lean Planned Parenthood on Margaret Sanger, then today, let's take down every Confederate statue, every single one. Let's burn the Confederate flag. Let's look at Jeff Sessions then should not be Attorney General for what he did in Alabama in 1986. We have to allow for the possibility of growth, and not only that, not Margaret Sanger, but an organization that W.B. Du Bois embraced.
I will say that, honestly, I should not be the person sitting on this panel having this discussion. It should be a Black woman who has the same concern. No, a Black woman to articulate the conservative position, and I think that would be a better argument.
No, actually, I disagree. But Ralph,
does not own one single mammography machine. Planned Parenthood has not done a single mammogram. She testified to that before Congress. So we can't sit here. Cecile Richards.
How mammograms work,
and so she can't. So they can't say that Planned Parenthood performs mammograms because they don't.
So
However, when you go to your primary care physician for any cancer you are being screened for, you have to be screened, and then you get a referral for whatever other procedure that you need. We refer out to a radiologist just like any other healthcare provider. So I think that this is a key point, and why medical experts need to be arguing this point on Capitol Hill, not politicians and not with talking points.
Roland, at Bennett College, Planned Parenthood was extremely helpful with our young women for sex education and other things. They came to the campus on more than one occasion to do workshops, and as you know, our young sisters need this kind of information. We were able to send some young women who had to have PAPs or other things before they came to campus over to Planned Parenthood, where they provided the service. I mean, we cut a little deal, so it was kind of gratis. I probably shouldn't say that on the air, but they were extraordinarily helpful, and I just find them to be a very helpful and important organization. And look, bro, if you don't want an abortion, don't have one. Right. It's real simple. If you don't want to go into a building where abortions are provided, don't go. But for the people who go there, they go there because they need help.
Can I just make
Courtney, 30 seconds.
Not to force women to have to make that decision.
Courtney, 30 seconds, last response. Courtney, 30 seconds. 1 second. Courtney, final comment.
I just think that this week, the things that we were doing yesterday just proves that women are fired up, and we are not going to let this resource be taken away. I think that thousands of women like myself are ready to keep this fight up, and we're coming, and we're not going.
All right, appreciate it, folks. You can go to factcheck.org or the Washington Post or NPR. Actually, if you just simply type in with Google, if you type in Margaret Sanger and racist, you actually see those stories that will speak to what Ralph alleged, but what Valencia also said was fact check. Folks, thanks a bunch. A peaceful protest turned deadly. 37-year-old Black man was shot and killed by Baton Rouge police. His hands are in the air,
and you still get shot by the cops.
Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead.
We're not going to let hate define us.
Race is a big part of this.
If truly all lives matter, then all lives need to matter equally.
What we require is action. What we require is accountability. We understand that black lives do matter, and we will keep focused on this issue.
NewsOne Now, every weekday morning at 7 on TV1.